What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now, from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left, the wonderful star of a great show, What Makes Sammy Run, Mr. Steve Lawrence.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. On my left, the very lovely and talented actress, panelist, and unfortunately we're not in color because she looks so beautiful tonight in this lovely gown, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now the enchanting, intriguing Random House panelist, publisher, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Steve, this is one night we should be in color because our panel moderator, Mr. John Daly, was playing golf today down at Burning Tree in Washington, and he is tonight the color of a ripe, luscious tomato. And I've always wanted to see him red-faced, and here he is, John Daly.
Well, Bennett's right. I may look like a tomato, but I feel more like a lobster at the moment. I must say, Steve, it's lovely to see you in that place again on the panel.
Thank you very much, John.
Matter of fact, I think it's an action, or rather an event, which requires some special celebration. So I'm happy to tell you all to have your masks ready because we're going to do some special things tonight. And we will also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the program. We'll meet our first challenger after this. All right, panel, are the blindfolds all in place?
Yes, John.
In that event, will our first mystery challenger enter and sign in, please? All right. Panel, I think we can tell you that our guest is salaried and deals in the service, and I think we ought to begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Well, does your name appear in the newspapers frequently?
Sometimes.
I would say yes, and let me do something that I left out here. I forgot to let the folks at home and those in the audience know exactly what our guest's line is. All right, Miss Dorothy, you have one yes. Will you proceed?
Would we recognize you because your face is familiar rather than because you are wearing a distinctive uniform?
Yes.
Do you work for a non-profit-making organization?
No.
That's one down a night ago. Mr. Lawrence?
Would your name appear in the sports section of a newspaper? Sometimes.
Yes would be the answer to that, Steve.
Yes. Would it be the sport that we are currently involved with? Would that be baseball? Yes. Was that a yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound too sure whether he plays baseball or not. Huh? Would you be connected in any way, shape, or form with one of the New York baseball teams? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you be connected with a team that currently occupies the Shea Stadium here in New York?
No.
Ooh.
No. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you the newest Yankee Doodle dandy
Yeah.
that went from catcher to manager? Yogi Berra?
Oh. Worst disguise I ever heard.
And actually, you know, Bennett, we thought we'd do much better with it because Yogi's lovely bride is with him tonight, and we were talking just before the program about what Yogi could do to disguise his voice, and it appears that he does this on the telephone a great deal, and it fools people when he does it on the phone. He pick up the phone at home and he says, hello. You know, they take off. The newest Yankee Doodle dandy is right. The boys won today.
Yeah, we squeak one out today, John.
Get him a habit.
Well, I just hope it keeps on going. It's a good habit to get into.
I don't know, since you became a manager, you know, you've just gotten a whole new serious approach to life, haven't you?
Well, yes, you know, a lot of them ask me. A lot of them ask me, you know, how it's going to be. Well, you know, with all the fellas I played with, and I keep telling them, I says it's a good thing I know all the fellas. I'd rather manage a club that I know all the fellas on than I would going with a club that I wouldn't know all the fellas.
Yeah. Actually, Yogi, I imagine that you've played so long with so many of them that there are very fine points about their game that a new manager coming in strange would probably take a couple of years to learn, wouldn't it?
Well, that's true. That's why I try to make out. You know, they told me after I signed with the Yankees I had a chance to manage Boston or Baltimore, but I wouldn't know all their players like I know my players, you know. And I haven't found any trouble. I've been enjoying it so far, John. I really have.
Well,
Yogi, I'd like to ask you one question, Yogi. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow morning after a terrible night and found out you were the manager of the Mets instead of the Yankees?
Well, I don't know yet.
John, can't Mrs. Berra come out and say hello?
We suppose Mrs. Berra would come out and meet you folks?
Well, the real manager of the Yankees come in and sign in, please.
The real manager of the Yankees come in. Well, Yogi, you know we all wish you the greatest season that baseball has ever known. And I don't want to embarrass you, but I think one reason why it's likely to happen is that everybody who plays with you or is now playing for you wants you to have a big first year just as much as you want to yourself. Thanks a lot for being our guests and for being a Yankee Doodle dandy. Wonderful to have you. All right, now to meet a second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please?
Susie Vankovich, right?
Right.
Is it Miss or Mrs. Vankovich?
Miss.
Miss Vankovich, and where are you from?
Logan, West Virginia.
Logan, West Virginia. Lovely to have you with us. Miss Vankovich, may I present the panel?
Now, would you join me over here, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All righty. Panel, we can tell you that Miss Vankovich is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Miss Mankiewicz, President Johnson was in West Virginia in the past few days. Can I rule out that you had anything to do with his visit to your state?
Yes.
In other words, then, that the service you perform had nothing to do with taking care of visiting celebrities. Is that correct? Do you perform your service in or around West Virginia?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Could I use your services?
No, I would say not. I don't want you to misunderstand, Dorothy. It is possible that you could, under certain circumstances, when am I getting it? It is possible that under certain circumstances you might get some pleasure out of seeing Miss Vankovich, you know? But you wouldn't directly have the service. Mr. Lawrence?
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
May I rule out that you're not the manager of the New York Mets? This service that you perform, do you perform it for or to people?
Yes.
This is where we get into the gray area again, because the service is in its
Well, there
direct
seemed to be some
application.
question about Dorothy.
Well, this is
making
what I
herself
was trying to
available.
say, Steve. In the direct application of the specific service, people would not necessarily be involved. At the same time, there is a set of circumstances which, if they are obtained, would reasonably allow you to state that people do get some benefit of a service which is delivered as a result of the application of the talents of Miss Vankovich.
I had less trouble understanding Yogi Berra. Would you perform your services then to the animal family?
Yes.
Would it be a four-legged animal?
Yes.
Would it be a domestic animal?
Domesticated animal?
Well, something found here in the United States or in the home here in the United States.
Found in the United States or in the home in the United States?
Yes.
I think we could say yes to that.
Could this animal be found in the home?
No.
No. 2 down and 8 to go, or 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it an animal that we wouldn't like to have around?
No, I can think of circumstances in which you would love to have the animal around.
Oh, really?
That makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Mankiewicz, is this animal used in any form of transportation, either by you're getting on top of the animal or having the animal pull something?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
John, I'm beginning to feel discriminated against. Arlene might love the animal, but I wouldn't have anything to do with it.
No, what I
I'm
said
a
was...
great animal lover. I want you to know.
Oh, this I know, and you know, when we get this all through, you'll understand what I'm... The problem we have here is that the service, in its direct application, has to do with the animal. At the same time, there are a set of circumstances under which any one of you might, for instance, perceiving it, feel that you're getting some kind of service or benefit from it, you see.
Is this an animal, the skin or hide or fur of which is used in any utilitarian way?
I think we could say it can be, yes?
Yes.
Would you consider this a non-domesticated animal?
No. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Lawrence.
Well, then I got a no on mine. I got a...
But not enough to be in the house,
No,
that's
not
all.
enough to be in the house. If I were to attend the circus here in New York City, would I see this animal in the circus?
Nope. 7 down, 3 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it, however, perhaps a farm animal of some kind?
Yes.
Yes. Is it an animal that has any byproducts such as milk or eggs or cream or goodies?
Yes.
Is the animal a cow?
Yes.
You have something to do with cows, and your name is not Ferdinand. Do you administer to the cow in a certain way?
Yes.
And the cow is perfectly happy?
We like to think so.
Are you a milker of cows?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is good fun. I'll throw them all over because basically you've identified it with that last question. Miss Vankovich milks, feeds, and grooms Elsie the cow. The Borden Company's Elsie.
So, Mr.
Here is my problem, Dorothy. The service is applied directly to Elsie, but out at the World's Fair, in the Better Living area, Miss Vankovich does a little program with Elsie the cow. See, so that you could go to that, and you could see it, and you would be getting that kind of service, but the service is not direct. And there you are, there, now.
Thank you, John.
In the Ozarks one time, I actually saw a cow pulling a cart.
Where?
In the Ozark Mountains.
You actually saw it. When were you in the Ozarks?
Well, that's because they didn't have any people.
Very nice people.
Ms. Vankovich, you made a lovely guest. Thanks a lot for being with us, and I hope you have a lovely summer out with Elsie and the Borden Company and the World's Fair.
Thank you
Nice
very
to have
much.
you with us. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from... And now, our special feature, another special feature of tonight's program, the appearance of another mystery celebrity. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes.
Good. Would you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, a different form of questioning this time. One question at a time in turn moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Arlene Francis.
Are you found on the pages, the entertainment pages of the paper? Is your name found?
Sometimes I am, yes, indeed, yes.
Good.
Mr. Cerf?
Yes.
Last week there was a great ceremony out in Hollywood in which about 50 Oscars were awarded. Were you involved in any way in that ceremonial?
No, I was not nominated at all. No, not at all. No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a star of the stage and screen?
Well, I have been, ooh la la, certainly. I have been in the motion picture business for quite a long time. Oh, yes, yes. I've been involved. I've been around for a long time.
Around the pool, huh?
Mr. Lawrence?
Well, I can rule out that you're not, that you're not French. That's for certain, though. Would your career, would you be more apt to be seen in movies rather than nightclubs?
I would think so. Yes, sir. Yes.
Miss Francis?
Yes.
Why did you rule out that... could we have a conference? Because I may have missed
You may have
something.
30 seconds for a conference.
Why did you rule out that he was not French?
Because he didn't like his French.
Yeah, I think he's...
Were you born in a country other than the United States?
Mrs. Francis, I must say that I was born somewhere else than in the United States. Yes.
That is our loss, monsieur.
Mr. Cerf?
Thank you. Thank you.
Were you born in Europe?
I was, yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Will we make any distinction between Europe and the British Isles?
No, you don't, not unless you want to.
John, I can't get arrested with you tonight. I thought you'd make the distinction for me. I'm not sure
No,
what
actually,
our rule
Miss
is.
Dorothy, we will, you can take it, how would you like to have it? We'll give it to you any way you want it.
Well, I would like to get a yes for once.
All right,
But,
you've got a yes.
All right. Well, yes on what?
Well, that's, I don't know, but you want a
All
yes,
right.
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, thank you, John. Now I'll ask a question. Do you travel with a British passport?
No, I do not.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Lawrence.
Are you starring currently in a motion picture here that's in New York right now?
I would imagine that there is a motion picture that I have made, which is here in New York now. Yes, I would assume so. Yes.
Arlene?
He's fighting the French accent so much that I think he's a Frenchman. Could I take a while? Is it Charles Boyer?
Mrs. Francis, you are making a mistake.
3 down and 7 to go.
Well, to settle this one part of this argument once and for all, are you French?
Yes.
Are you Louis Jourdan?
Yes.
Now, you will all, I'm sure, forgive us, but it worked. You know, we just thought that if he really did his French accent and laid it on heavy, that you might go wandering off the field and you did.
Yes, you were the one. Arlene, you were
I was a bad girl?
You were a bad girl.
I was. I would not be allowed to go to France with you, huh?
Yes, of course not.
Mr. Jourdan was that.
Oh, that was great fun.
It was wonderful.
That was wonderful fun, Lou.
Great fun, really.
Mr. Delicious, isn't this the first time Mr. Jourdan has been on our program?
No, I have
You
been
were
here.
before?
Yes.
Arlene,
I
how
cannot
could you
win
forget?
tonight, huh?
Yes, I've been on your program twice. Once as a mystery guest, and once on the panel.
And I was here both times.
I think you're right.
Arlene.
Do you think I'm trying to cover something up, Louis?
But he wasn't using his French accent those times, you see. That's what happened.
Yes, the first time that I was on the show, I tried to be as American as I could, if you remember. I say, sure, certainly, of course. Yeah, you know, that sort of thing.
And boom, they hit you like a
Yes, and they got me.
I still think, Louis, that Gigi was the greatest musical picture ever made in this country.
And actually, I guess, Dorothy, was it your question or Steve's? Gigi and the VIPs still are in New York. That's why we said
No, that wasn't
why
my
I've
question.
seen
That got a yes.
No, that was my question. I'm sure it's floating around New York somewhere.
What was that you said about his French accent, Steve? I missed that.
Well, I thought that he was putting it on, and I thought he was trying to do this to disguise it.
That was the
You
plan.
see what a good
That was the
actor you
plan.
are. You fooled me.
Well, Lou, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
You
much.
were a delightful guest for What's My Line. Nice to have you back again. Well, I think we've got to admit you've done rather well tonight, panel, and congratulations are in order. We'll all be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. And on that...
The real truth is that's the phone number.
Oh.
The old phone numbers.
For heaven's
They
sake.
made him the zip codes.
Well, anyway, Dorothy, I'm puzzled enough to say nice to have seen you all again, and good night, Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night. My love to Edie, Steve.
Thank you, Dorothy. Good night, dear. Good night, Arlene.
Good night, dear. And Martin, come home. All is forgiven.
Next time you play golf, I suggest you wear a cap. Good night.
If I thought that would improve my golf game, I'd wear 10 caps. But I don't think wearing a cap is going to do me much good, Bennett. In fact, maybe if I get my brains a little addled with a little more heat, I'd be a better golfer, and I'd rather be a better golfer than just have my brains going the way they're going, because I'm very unhappy with my brains as they are in my golf game as it is. Does that confuse you, Bennett?
Not at all.
It doesn't confuse you a bit. His face is not red then. And thank you all for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Johnny Olson speaking.